everyone, welcome to my channel Akash Segamo, and today we are going to go for the second experiment. I think the first experiment I have created a few videos. So for the second experiment we are going to my DevOps Lab repository. Let me zoom in, and in this repository you can see we have the second experiment, explore Git and GitHub commands. So let me check back on the course reference to see for DevOps Lab. This is the second experiment. So this experiment requires you to understand what is Git, what is GitHub, and how you can use the commands. So we are going to explore what is Git. So Git is a distributed version control system, short form is VCS, and it helps developers collaborate on project. It allows you to track changes and revert to previous stages and branch to create separate lines of development. And this is the git-sem.com is the Git website. Here you will find tutorials and documentation and how to download and the recommended books for it. I recommend you to just go through this website and explore it. The best first recommendation would be go to the documentation and you can click on the videos or on the books. If you open GitHub, you will find the GitHub related documentation, and you can also check the wiki for it. But if you're logged into GitHub, so this is how my profile looks like, and these are the number of repositories that I have for my profile. Let us look back. So now GitHub. So Git is a version control system, so you need to host this version control system so that you can collaborate with projects from other people. So for that we have the GitHub, the hub, meaning anyone who is using Git projects, they could come to the hub and explore. So for example, if I'm here, I could just explore different projects. So if I click on explore, I could find out about different topics. What are the topics that are now trending, and what are the different collections that are present? Are there any events? And there are different things. So I recommend just exploring the github.com website and refer to the Wikipedia if you'd like to understand the history behind GitHub. Okay, then let me go back to the experiment 2. So since you already have the brief idea of what is GitHub is, so let's explore the Git commands. So the git init command. So for example, if I have my terminal, let me create this in the bottom and have it at the top. So we have our first command. So I'm in my desktop. I don't have any files here. So I'm going to create a new directory and call it experiment 2. And I change my directory to experiment 2, and now I don't have any files in this folder. So before creating any Git repository, you need to first create git init. This initializes the new repository. Now you will have a new file that is called .git, which contains information about this repository. And if you wanted to clone some other repository, you can use the command git clone and the repository. So for example, I would like to, let me go back to my desktop. Now I would like to clone my DevOps Lab repositories. For that, I could use different ways to clone it. So let me try the git clone using the SSH way. Git clone is the second command, and I type in the repository. So now you can see the repository is now being cloned. Now when I check in my desktop, so there is a new folder called DevOps Lab. So using the git clone and the repository, you can clone the repository. And okay, now I can remove directory. Okay, now okay, maybe let me use Finder. I forgot the command. So now you can see there are no files. Also empty my bin. Okay, let me clear. So let's go to cd experiment 2 and let us execute the next command, git status. So git status, because there are nothing to commit, so we can add a new file. For that we could say touch readme.md. so now git status, we have a new file that we need to commit. So for that we say git add readme.md. now git status, you can see it change from red to green, saying like, yeah, you have a new file you have added, but in order to commit it, you need to add a new commit message. So let me use git commit message and say it's a new feature, add or documentation, and the scope, let's say, is readme, add readme.md file. Okay, now check back on git status. Now because we have committed it, it is present. Now let's check git log. You can see in my log that I have added a new commit, which is adding the newly created file readme.md. You can cat readme.md to check the contents. Since it's an empty file, there is nothing else to see. You could also cross check by going to desktop, and you can see it's an empty file. The next one is git branch. So let me create a new branch, git branch, and call it develop. And git branch, you can see I have created a new branch by calling it develop. If you just git branch, you will be able to see the list of branches. Now it is main, so now I can also check out our newly cloned branch, which is develop. So now if I do git branch, you're able to see I switched from main to develop branch using the checkout command. And if you want, you could also create a new branch, git branch QA, and you can see there are new branches, git branch delete QA. Now you can see there's a new branch delete. Okay, and I guess there is -d is a flag. Yeah, I think now you can see the delete branch is now being deleted by using -d flag. The next one is merge. So we are in develop branch and we want to merge it to main branch, but there are no changes here. So how can we do that? Let's add something else. So let's say code and dot. So this will open the folder in Visual Studio Code, and we have our readme file, and say, let's say call it experiment 2, and we could also commit it using Visual Studio Code, and we say what is the new change. Experiment 2 is added, so I stage my changes here, and I say okay, now for docs and readme, docs is a type of commit, readme is a scope. I say add experiment 2 as heading, and I commit. So the changes are committed. Now I want to add, let's see, we are in $branch, so that's the reason it is showing up. So how can we merge branches? So Visual Studio Code is not super intuitive, so for that I recommend using source tree. So for example, we created a new branch and we call it local repository. Click on it, create, open local repository, click on experiment 2, click open, and here you can see the branches that are present. If I click on checkout main, this is the main branch, this is the develop branch. Now we need to check out main branch, and we say merge develop to main, so this will merge it. So now let's go back to develop branch and let's open it again, and now let's make it a heading. So after you make a heading, you could see it has been shown differently before heading. So let me, you can see it's shown normally, but if I add a markdown hash and space, it becomes a heading. So we now added a heading, and we say docs readme add heading 1 style to title. Then we commit and we check back on in our source tree. We could see, okay, I cannot zoom in much, but yeah, this is a new change. So let us try to use the command line now. Yeah, so we are right now in experiment 2. Let us see which branch we are in. We say type git branch. Okay, now we are in develop, so in order to merge into main, we have to do first checkout main and check verify again which branch. Now we say git merge develop. You can see updating now. Main branch is being merged with develop branch. You can cross check. You can see the main branch is now the same as the develop branch. When we check out, double clicking, it has the latest change. When we change to main branch, it has also the latest change. Let us check back. You can see now the hash is also present in the main branch. So that's it about merging. Always make sure the branch that you want to merge, you need to check out that branch, and you need to, then you can merge the branch that you're supposed to merge into that branch using git merge, the branch name. The next is git pull, fetch and merge changes from a remote repository. Since this repository is not remote, so we need to create a remote repository for it. So as it is an experiment, so let me go here and click on, maybe I zoom in a bit, plus sign. You can create a new repository, say repository, and this is my experiment 2. I can call it experiment 2 is available. I don't want to make it public now as it is an experiment repository. I click on create repository. So now we have already done this commits, so we just need to add this step. remote add. So we go back here, we say git remote add origin, and we added the origin. Now we need to push to the origin. I think this is the second command. No, here is the push to origin, push changes to a remote repository. Since we have all our changes locally, they are not present in the remote repository, so we need to push them. So for that, we are going to copy this command, git push -u origin main, and now the contents have been pushed. So now if you refresh, you can see experiment 2 with the style. So we can click on readme and click on code, so you will see the hash. The preview, it is a markdown file. GitHub shows you in the preview mode. Now let's go to pull. So there are some changes. For example, to say I added some changes here, let's say experiment 2, then I want to say, yeah, welcome to experiment 2, add a empty line to indicate end of file. Then yeah, you can create a new branch or you can commit directly. Let us see what happens if we commit directly. So here you can go back to your experiment to click on fetch. Then you can see, maybe let me try here, git fetch. Okay, you can see there are new commits. So the commits are already here. Next we need to use git pull, which is also similar to git fetch. Let's try pull. One file has been pulled. Fetch and merge changes from repository to main. So let's say git pull origin, and the branch name is main. So now you can see up to date. But what happens if we made some more change and say welcome to experiment 2, here is a new change, and commit it. Now when we use git pull origin main, you can see now the remote branch is ahead with a new commit. So the new changes are now added. Now let's go back, and here you can see in our Visual Studio Code, then the new change is already present, and you can see the timeline here, who has done it when. So since I did the change, you can see next to me my name and the time when the change was committed. Yeah, that's both the git push and origin. So let us try something else. So now I want to make a change locally. I say here is a new change, and I say add new to do. Now I have a new change, that is add new to do. Click on plus, and I say docs is a scope type, and readme, and we say add new list item, and commit and push. So let's try commit. So the changes are locally, but they are not present in the origin. That means the changes are not yet present in the main branch. So then we have to push the changes. So git push, it will push the changes directly to main. So now we can see a new to do item has been added. And yeah, since we are in the same branch, you don't have to add origin and branch, but if you're in a different branch that you're trying to push changes, you can use git push origin and the branch name. There is also a new tool that has been released from GitHub, that is JNTUH. JNTUH is a GitHub's official command line tool that brings GitHub features to your terminal, allowing you to interact with GitHub repositories like the issues, pull requests, and more directly from the command line. So this tool helps streamline your workflow by integrating GitHub repositories. What is that? So there is a tool called JNTUH from GitHub. So if you open it up, so this is the command line tool that is being developed. So instead of going to the browser and opening the repository, this tool helps you understand what is different statuses, different issue types, and also pull requests that you can manage without going to the browser via your terminal command line. So there are different commands, so explore them. So these are not required for the experiment too, but it is good to have. These are the commands for the tool. So GitHub login, it authenticates if you are a GitHub user or not. Let's try it. GH login. So now since it shows up different tools to say which way you want to. So okay, this is for first time users. Since I have already been logged in, I have most of the settings present here. You can check out the GitHub documentation for it and also this CLI, and you will find more info. Okay, since I am using Mac, so it shows me the Mac related command line, but if you want to have different installation instructions, it will show you different installation instructions. So for example, for Linux or Windows, you will find different installation instructions that are being shown up in the page. Let's go back to explore this command. And the next one, I would say pull request creation in GitHub. So a pull request, a PR, is a method of submitting contribution to a project. It allows you to notify project maintainers about changes you would like them to consider. Here is how to create a pull request in GitHub. So the first method is fork the repository. So for example, you are in experiment 2 and you want to fork it, you can click on the fork option and it creates a new copy for you with your username. The next one is clone repository, I think, which we already saw. If you click on code here, it provides you can download the zip or open a desktop to clone it. And there are different options. I now use the GitHub CLI tool, so this is one way to clone the repository. I think previously I've shown you how to clone it using HTTPS. You can also try it with SSH. I think we already went through creating a new branch already, but if you like, we can also create. Check out the branches here. So there are some of the branches are not pushed. So let's go and maybe git branch. So we are in main, so git checkout, develop. So let's check, we're in develop, so let's say git push. So yeah, sometimes we get these helpful commands that let us understand and we can copy paste them. So now you can see from main we now have a new branch called develop, and that is one way to create the branch locally using the terminal commands. But how about if you want to create it here in the browser? You can click on new branch and I want to say something like staging, and this is the source, so that means we are going to make a copy from this one. So I want to create from develop. Let me create a new branch from develop. So you can see this is a new branch. Make your changes to the code base, commit your changes, push your changes, and yeah, so we already went through this command, git commit and also git push, and creating a PR. So we did not create a PR, so let's try that part. For example, we want to maybe first fetch, because we don't know, then we don't have the changes Okay, from origin we only have 2 branches, so git pull. Okay, there's a new branch. Now the new branch is shown up. Let me check out the new branch, and here I want to say, okay, create a new file, and I would like to call it as example.html, and yeah. So this is my example.html in my new branch. Staging, I would say feature, kind of scope is HTML and example. HTML5. If you don't have a scope, you can also leave the scope and commit the change. And you can push the changes here. And now the changes are not present in the origin. So here we can create the pull request. So we are going to create a pull request maybe to develop branch, so myself, and I call this the new enhancement. And you can say the changes. Yeah, this is the same thing. Add HTML5. Okay, now I created the pull request. Now I can merge the pull request. And if I go back, there are new changes in the development branch. So if I change from main to develop, you can see the new changes here. So that covers the create pull request. So these completes the experiment 2. Yeah, my recommendations are check out Git website and GitHub website and explore them. So that's all for today. So thanks for watching my video. If you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I also write in Medium under the same name, Akash Segamo. Thanks a lot. Bye.